You're good.
All right, good morning, everybody. We are on Daf. Today, whatever's Pei Gimel. So we got up to the bottom line of Pei Gimel and Beis. We're actually going to be, today is Thursday, I believe. All right, I have to check my phone now because it doesn't, yeah, today is Thursday. So we're actually going to be doing Friday's blot, and this way, we should not be falling behind. And on Sunday, Mitzvah Hashem will do the two blot of Saturday, Sunday. So we left off at the bottom line. It was a little trick at the end there because he was starting to get into like, how one should approach learning Torah. You should kill himself over Torah, and then it goes straight back into Tumah. So now I thought it was going to get some Agadah or some good stuff, but now we got some Tumah, back to Tumah. So Omar Rava, says Rava. Now, if you recall, our Mishnah had a source that all boats, learned from the Pasuk, that all boats are considered to be Tahor, just like the Yam.
Where are we again? Sorry.
What?
Where are we again?
Bottom line, Pei Gimel Amud Beis, last two words of the line. We're
Got it. Thank you.
So our Mishnah held that all boats, doesn't matter the size, whatever it is, all boats are tahor. They're not tummy, not susceptible to tumah. Person who touches it, azav, someone goes on it, tumas hasi, whatever it is, it does not matame the boat. There's another source. There's Hanania who learns, no, we learned that a boat, it's like a sack, from the material of a sackcloth, that is only makabel if you can go ahead and carry it, whether it's maliv or rekan, right? Even if it's full or not. So therefore, according to him, if something is a small enough boat that it can be moved, right, and can be carried, then it is makabel tuma. So that would be the point of machlokes. And it says Rava Amar Rava, bottom line, turn the page. Hanania, and according to Hanania, who just said, if you can move it, even if it's full, then it is considered to be a movable object, and therefore it is susceptible to tuma. Tiltul aydei shorim shemei tiltul. If it can be moved, not by human strength, right, of even one who does CrossFit, but even if it's pulled by oxen, that is considered to be movable in order to qualify it to be a movable object. And how does he know that from? That's now we learn in the Mishnah. Shalosh Agolos. There are three types of wagons. This is not referring to boats, referring to like actually wagons that are drawn by a horse. So there are three types. Shalosh Agolos. Asuya kekatdra tmea medras. If one is made like a sort of like a chair, like a one to sit in, right, like a single rider type of wagon. So that wagon is for the purpose of not carrying objects, but of carrying people. Since it's something that is made for sitting upon, such as like a couch or a chair, therefore that type of wagon is settled to tumas medras. And kamita, if it's built like a bed, in other words, it's not really made for sitting on, therefore it's not matami tumas medras, but it's made for putting things on and moving things in the wagon. Kamita, tameya, tamei mace. It could be settled to tumas mace, or if one touches it, then it could be makabel tuma that way. And shalavanim taharim mikulam. But if it's used for stones, if it's used for carrying large stones, then it is tar all of them. Why is it tar? Because those that use large stones aren't solid on the bottom. Rather, it's like ropes or whatever it is, like wooden boards, right? Wooden boards underneath it. They can place large stones in it, and they won't fall through, even despite the fact that there's holes in there. And since there's holes in it, it's not makabel tuma. But however, if there are not large holes in it. In other words, what qualifies as a hole? The qualifies as a hole is the halacha is if a pomegranate can go ahead and fit through the hole, that is considered to be not a vessel because it can't hold something because the hole is too big. If the hole is smaller than a pomegranate, then it's considered to be a usable kli, and therefore this wagon is now usable if its holes are smaller than a pomegranate, and therefore, in such a case, we would say it would be makabel tuma. Now wait. How is this wagon? It's not lifted, right? The wagon with stones. It's pulled by oxen, right? So you see clearly there's a proof that something which can be moved, i.e. even by large animals, that is considered to be movable and is makabel tuma. Because if it was not movable, then it would not be makabel tuma. And shalosh tevos hey. There are also three kind of tevos, not only wagons, but three types of drawers or chests that one uses. Teva shapizcha mitzada tmei medras. Now, one that's open from the side. One is open from the side. Why is it open from the side? Because on top is solid. Your top is people sit on. So therefore, since it's made for sitting upon, therefore it has the qualifications of a couch or a chair, and then it is susceptible makabel tuma for tumas medris and milamala. But if it's open from the top, in other words, that you store things from the top, therefore it's not really made for sitting upon. Therefore, it's matame tumas mace. It can be settled tumas mace in terms of coming in contact with it, and therefore that would make it tame. But if it's very, very large, then it's pata from all of them, right? It's very for large, it's pata from all of them because it's not movable. Now, if it were be something that would be movable even by oxen, then it would be makabel tuma. Fine. Taner rabbanan. So medris klicheres tahor. Rabbi Yosi Omer afasvina. So we're gonna have a brisa. We're gonna try to understand this brisa. So it says medris klicheres, right? The medris of a klicheres, of an earthenware vessel. Right?
Do we mean that it's capable of becoming tamei?
Right.
Or do we mean, yeah, okay. So
now
it's
remember,
not that it's tamei.
No, it's not avatuma. Right. So remember, avatumas are, I feel like, a zav, a nida, a mace, right, a sheretz. So those things are tamei. So the question is,
but they're susceptible to tumas medris.
They could be matame other things. So, they could be matame your metal pot. So the question is, what about a klicheres, an earthenware vessel? Now, earthenware vessel, we'll soon see the different qualifications of earthenware vessel. So now a klicheres is not made to sit on. Now, something could be mikabel tumas medris. Now, mikabel tumas medris means that it supports the weight of something, even if it doesn't make direct contact, right? If it's supported by something, right, that has an avatuma on it, like a zav satan or something, that then the whole thing, even if it's not in contact, if there's 10 layers and the person's on top and it's supporting it, the tumo goes through it into that. So, but that's only something that's made for sitting upon. But since a klicheres, an earthenware vessel, is not made for sitting upon, it is tahor from tuma. It does not have the ability to become tame through tumas. And Rabbi Yosi says afasvina. So my kamar, what's this Bryce talking about? How do you understand it? So Amar Rav Zvid, right? So what's this conversation between the Tanakama and Rabbi Yosi? So Amar Rav Zvid, Hachi kamar medris klicheres tahor. When it comes to a klicheres on a earthenware vessel, since it's not made to sit upon, therefore it's not in the parsha of tumas medris, right? If you touch it, it can be makabel tuma, but not if it supports the weight of something. Umago tame, but if you touch it, then it is tame. So in other words, it's matame through touch, but it's not matame through tumas medris. Usvina, and says it continues the Tanakama, right? And this is what Tanakama says. Usvina shacheres tameya, but a boat made of cheres of earthenware is tameya, and that would be like Chananya, right? That would be like Chananya. Remember, as when we started Shir, we discussed the machlokas between Chananya and our Mishnah. Chananya says that boats, if you can carry it, is makabel tuma, and our Mishnah says it can never be tamei. So according to the Tanakama, svina made of cheres is susceptible to tuma if it's liftable like Chananya. Rabbi Yosi Omer, Rabbi Yosi says, Af hasvina tahira. And then Rabbi Yosi comes to say, Af hasvina, when he says Af hasvina in this brisa, he meant even the svina is tahira, ketana dida, like our Mishnah. Our Mishnah says all boats, right, are compared to the sea, and therefore, just like the sea is tahor, so too all boats are tahor. So Maskav Rav Papa says, okay, so my Af, right, if you're coming to argue, what is Af hasvina, right? If you're coming to say that it's even tahor, well, your whole point was that, right? You're coming from the opposite direction. It shouldn't say even a boat, right? So it should say, so why my af? Papa hachi kamar. This means to say medris kli cheres tahor. When it comes to tumas medris, if it's a kli cheres, if it's made out of earthenware, then it's tahor. Umago tame, and if you touch it, then it's tame. That's what we said before. Vishel eitz. In other words, the boat we didn't discuss yet, but now all this is sort of unwritten, right? And if a kli is made of wood, v'shel eitz, bein medus bein mago tame, but something of wood, whether you go ahead and you touch it or it's matame tumas medris, it is tame. Usvina sayardein tahara, and a svina made of wood, so is tahar according to Tanakama, ketana didan. Right? Like the author of Mishnah. Why? Because even though you can carry a wooden boat, nevertheless, all boats are tahor according to our Mishnah. And then Rabbi Yosi says in there, Rabbi Yosi Amir, afas svina tameya. No. Don't tell me that the svina is considered to be something which is tahor, right? Rather, even if a wooden boat is movable, then that is tameya kechananya, like chananya. Now, that was that. Now we're going to another tangent. Umedrus klicheres minolan de tahor. How do you know that a medrus, that the tumas medrus, when it comes to klicheres, is not applicable? So Amar Chizka says, he brings up, there's two psukim we'll bring. The Amar Kar, the pasuk says, V'ish asher yigav b'mishkava. So it says that a man will touch his mishkava, right? That which he sits on, his couch, right? His chair, that which he sits on. If he touches it, right? And mishkavo, his couch, right? So makish mishkavo lo. We compare his mishkav, right? His couch to him, right? He is, let's say, a zav, right? And he sat upon this couch. So it's just like him. Mahu islay tahara b'mikvah, af mishkava nami islay tahara b'mikvah. Just like he is able to go ahead and go to the mikvah, so too the material that he sits on should be something that goes to the mikvah. So now, however, we all know that a kilcheres, if you have an earthenware vessel, is unique, that it cannot go in the mikvah. If an earthenware vessel becomes tameh, the only way to purify it is to break it. You have to break it in pieces where it's no longer be usable, then the tuma goes out. But it does not go in a mikvah. That material does not go in a mikvah. So therefore, right, we learn from here that when it comes to tumas medrus, like this pasuk is talking about, when he sits upon it, it does not apply to earthenware. And the debate Rabbi Shmuel Tana and the yeshiva Rabbi Shmuel, they taught very similar raisa. The mishkav nidasa yelah, right? The sitting of the nida will be to it, right? It will be on that which he was sat upon. So makish mishkav Allah. So we compare the nida to that which he sat upon. Mahi isle b'tara mikvah af mishkava nam isle tara the mikvah lafuki klicheres the lesle tara mikvah. So just like the way she becomes Torah is by her going to the mikvah. So to anything that the mishkava, the pasuk is talking about by tumas medrus, is something that needs to go in the mikvah. And that would exclude earthenware because we said a klicheres has to be broken. You can't just go ahead and take it to the mikvah. So Rabbi Eloi is a kasha. So he says, okay, if tumas medrus means only something that goes in the mikvah, mapats b'meis menai, right? What about, right, a reed mat? So we have over there, a brisa says, a reed, I say mapats b'meis menai. So if it's made, it's a mat used. There's no base kibble, right? It doesn't hold anything. It's a flat mat. So this mafid b'meis minaya. How do we know it's makabel tuma from a meis minayin? So v'didu, you can make an argument, right? Turn the page. Ma pachin ketanim shetahirim bezav tveim b'meis. Small kalim, right? Small utensils, right? Pachin ketanim of cheres, as Rashi points out, that are torah by a zav are tamei mitami tumas meis. So a zav, right? The way for a earthenware vessel to become tameh is through the inside. So it is not makabel tuma from a zav because it's too small for the tuma to be in the inside, but it is mitame tumas meis. All right, we do know that it is mitame through tumas meis. In other words, if it comes in contact with a mace or under an ohel, it becomes tameh. So mapitz shetami bezav. So a reed mat which can become tummy by zav if his zav, let's say, is on top of this mat, right? Enodin she tummy b'meis, right? So isn't it obvious that it should be tummy b'meis? Now, so according to this, so that was a source that this mat, right, is made could be makabel tumas meis, and he uses it from a kal v'chomer, right, using the given, right, one of the given information is that it is becomes tameh, right, through tumas medrus from a zav. Of course, says v'mai halesei tara mikvah. Now we know a reed is similar to something which is made from eights, and a reed mat cannot go in the mikvah. Now we know but when it comes to wooden utensils are unique. All right. Now we say something that is made of metal. Okay, so those things made of metal are makabel tuma, whether or not they have a base kibble, right? Whether or not it can hold something. Just because something is a kli, right? It doesn't necessarily mean it can hold something. Okay, so therefore, if it's metal, it's always can go to the always go to the mikvah. But when it comes to something made of wood, only if it's something made of a base kibble, if it has a receptacle that holds something, that goes in the mikvah. But if it's a wood, right, like a mat, which does not hold anything, it does not go to the mikvah. Now, if a wooden mat, right, this mapatz doesn't go in the mikvah, how could you say mapatz shetami bezav, right? Eino din shetami beis. But why is a mapatz tami bezav? It shouldn't be tami bezav. You just told me the rule by Madras is what? Only something that goes in the mikvah. So this mat does not go in the mikvah. So why are you telling me that this mat is mekabel tuma? Since we find that material is something that could potentially be go to the mikvah, i.e. a wooden kli that has a receptacle. So since a wooden kli has a receptacle, right, a wooden kli would be able to go to the mikvah. So too, all wood is included if it's something that's made to support weight, like this mappets. So therefore, in such a case, we would say that it would be included in that pasuk of learn from Mishkav. And Amarle, Rachmana litzlan mehai daita. So he responded to him. He said, right, Nebuch, and then the svara, your svara is krum, it's crooked. Doesn't make sense, right? Why? Just because the other types of wooden utensils go in a mikvah, so therefore that should be halachas like this. So he says, right? He says, oh yeah, same to you, right? Your svara. Why do you say it's no good? So the Tamamai, what's the reason why they argued? So Trey Krikesi, what's the reason why you would say that just because there's something that there are certain types of wooden kalim that can go in the mikvah, it should apply. So Trey Krikesi, there's two psukim. All right, there are two psukim. See, one pasuk says v'isha asher yiga b'mishkavo. So he saw a person that touched that which he said on mishkavo, his mishkav, right? It describes it as his, right? Mishkavo, right? And then it says uksiv kol hamishkav asher yishkav alav hazav yitame or yitma. So kol hamishkav, it calls a mishkav. It doesn't call a mishkavo. It calls a mishkav, right? So one pasuk, and both talking about the zav. One is mishkav, and the other one is mishkavo. So what's the haketzat, right? So when is it one his, one is one like? So yesh b'mino. If there's something, in other words, with the same materials, afal gav the lesei tar b'mikvah, even though it itself is something that doesn't go in the mikvah, but there's kinds like it that go in the mikvah, i.e. wood. So therefore, any sort of wood is makabel tumas medrus because there are certain types of wooden kalim that go in the mikvah. However, ein b'mino, but if something is not, there is nothing that goes in the mikvah, such as earthenware, so mashke bishkavlo, right? Then it would be so ein b'mino, mashke bishkavlo. Then it would be like him himself. In other words, just as then it has to be like him, and just like he has to go to the mikvah, so too this kli has to be able to go to the mikvah. And since a kli made of earthenware cannot go in the mikvah, therefore it would be considered not be matame tumas medrus. And Rav Omar medrus kli cheres tahar mihacha. So he says, no. Here's another proof. We want to know before how do you know tumas a kli which is matame tumas medrus is not, a kli which is made of cheres is not makabel tuma through medrus. So Rava brings his own proof. Medrus kli cheres tahar mihacha from this proofs. It says the v'chol kli pasuach asher ein smit p'sil love. It says over there by tumas meis that if it's under an ohel. And if you have a kli in there without a cover, right, that becomes tamei. Ha yesh tzmid psil. But if it does have a cover, a stopper, something to close it up, taharahu, it would be tahar. So this kli, right, which is something which is and this is something which would be basically stop the tuma. So this is made of earthenware. So it says, right? So maybe we're dealing with a case of where that his wife, this is a kli, that perhaps even his wife was in contact with when she was a nida, and nevertheless, it stops it blocks the tuma. Now, the way something can block tuma is only if it itself cannot become tummy, or else it can't be a block. So therefore, we see that something made of that, potentially something that could cover the inside of it, which is the cheres cover, is something that is not makabel tuma, because even if a nida touches it, it still blocks the tuma from coming it. So the kaman achmana Torah, and the Torah says it's Torah. So therefore, you see that any material of cheres, anything that made of earthenware, is not makabel tuma. So Rava brings his source. He says, you don't learn from over there, from Mishkavo. Rather, we learned from over here that we see cheres is not makabel tuma when it comes to tumas meis, and therefore, when it comes to any sort of tuma, it's not makabel tuma. Fine.
Now your Mishnah.
So the Mishnah says, so now we're continuing with the Minayans. Minayin le'aruga she'ishisha al shisha tfachim she'zarin b'seicha chamisha zeroinim. How do we know that a patch, a field, Okay, that is 6 by 6 tefachim. All right, 6 tefachim wide, 6 tefachim long. That you can go ahead and plant 5 different crops there. All right, it's not a problem. The problem is you can't 2 crops next to each other. It's a problem of kilayim, a problem of mixing 2 different seeds, and they'll mix in the ground and grow together. So you have to separate them by a certain distance. So there are many different halachas when it comes to the halachas of kilayim. And over here, it's saying that if you have even something that was 6 by 6, even that small, you still have the ability to go ahead and plant 5 different kinds. And we say, so arba al arba ruchais aruga. So you have 4 on all 4 sides. V'achas bam. So 1 in the middle. So those of you who have, I guess, the Gemaras in front of you, right? I don't know if you can see it properly. So you see over there that there's that dot in the middle, and then along the sides, right, is where it's planted. So you're allowed to go ahead and plant along the sides and the 1 in the middle. So Rashi over here explains that the ones on the sides, right, that, well, let's start with the one in the middle has to be distanced from all the other edges. So therefore, the one in the middle is distanced enough. There's actually 3 tefachim between that and any of the sides, because it's 6 tefachim wide, and then the plant is in the middle. So therefore, there's a minimum of 3 tefachim between the middle one and the 2 side ones. And the 2 other ones, so they can't go all the way to the corner. They have to be spaced apart, at least a square. We'll soon see in terms of the amount of the diagonal, how close, these 2, but they cannot connect. And the reason why we say that, since they're not planted, in rows next to each other, but they're perpendicular to one another, therefore it appears that they are different. And if something is basically separated and appears to be different, then the Rabbanan don't have a problem. Such as, right, if you have 2 neighbors, right, and they each plant on their side of the fence, and even though, despite the fact it could be close, but since there's a fence in the middle, and they might, even though underground might be a different situation, but since it does not appear that they are together, they're sewed together, they're planted together, therefore it would be okay. So therefore, if you have, right, tomatoes here and cucumbers here, whatever it is, then that would be okay. So those are considered to be distant to one another. And then the one in the middle, Shenamar, the pasuk says, and the Gemara is going to explain the pasuk. Shenamar is ki keretz taitziat simcha ukagina zarea tatzmiach. Right. So it says over there, because, right, the land will give forth and it will sprout, right, like its garden zera, right, its seeds tatzmiach. So it says zera tatzmiach zara. So zara lo nemar ela zera. So it doesn't say it's seed, rather it's seeds. All right, so let's see what's pshat in this pasuk. So the Gemara actually starts off with the pshat in the pasuk. So my mashma, what's pshat in the pasuk? Where do you see 5, right, from the pasuk that you can go ahead and something 6 by 6, you can go ahead and make it, plant 5 different things. So Rav Yehuda, ki kaaretz taitzi tzimcha. So it says taitzi chad. So the word taitzi, right, that it should go ahead and give forth, right. So that's 1, right. Simcha sprout is chad is 2. Hare trey, zerel trey. Now the word zerel, seeds, right, which is plural, is 2. So we're at 3, 4, right? That's ha'arba. And tatzmiach, right, should sprout, right? Then that's 5. So ha'chamisha, right? That is 5. And then which the kimlu l'rabanan, the chamisha b'shisa lo yanaki mehadadi. And we know that the Rabbanan, now this part was not the pasuk, but the Rabbanan know that as long as it was 6 by 6, right? That they're not, that the 6 by 6, that is the minimum shear, as Rashi explains, right? We know that each one basically can sprout underneath it a tefach and a half. So therefore, if you have 3 tefachim between the middle one and the one on the outer, so that's 3 tefachim. So you have 1.5 for this one and 1.5 on the row. Therefore, they would not be combining, and therefore they will be mutter because of kilayim. All right, we'll stop here. I want to wish everybody a good yontif, and especially Mr. Marilis out in Florida. Wish him a good yontif. And to our youngest member, to Yosef Katzenstein, wish him a good yontif, and everybody else here. Oh, yeah, actually, no, Avrami has a daughter. She's Michal.
She's been with us for a long time.
Very good. All right, everyone should have a wonderful yontif. Stay safe. Be well.
Miss you.
I got 2 questions.